couldn't believe the things that were written in the Bible were in the Bible. I've been around people and Christians, and you know, you see the Bible, you go to a church or a funeral or something like that, or some religious events, you see people carrying the Bible on Sunday, knocking, it was everywhere. But I never knew what was in the Bible was so heavy. And a lot of people don't know it today. A lot of people just think of it the way I thought of it growing up, like it's just a Christian book. It got a bunch of songs in it. It's, you ain't something you take serious. But it wasn't until I sat down and really went in it that I realized this was the greatest book on earth that was hated by everybody else. Like if you think about it,
Yeah. Yeah, you know what it is. 140 for the rapper, Billy Man shit, nigga. They take their head over, nigga. I'm ready with Eve. Did the Adam, I just pray my love don't lie to me. Swing the iron like stamps and I can't let no holder lie to me. I don't feel these rappers, all they lies is hypocrisy. Ain't no competition, ain't no rivalry. Niggas think I'm playing, I don't hear one word they saying, this shit light work. Think Muhammad one of us, he might lose his life first. Suckle up and stay alert. Another cop can stretch the nigga. He a demon, this an exorcism. Watch I bless the nigga. You took that open blood, then you know I'm gonna get active with you. From the opposition, I see vision. Let me paint the picture. Rappers claim they spit and I ain't listen. Is it if revenge was a woman, now I stroke that bitch like Jagger. I walk, we gon' run the summer. It's gon' be historical. Thought they making plays, made them niggas call the audible. Ask who run this shit, but that question is rhetorical. Bitch, I'm the one, me cookies with the oil. I'ma get them crackers, hell, should've never kidnapped my family. I can't do baby, bet I be the last nigga standing. Do a life sentence for my niggas, pray you understand me. I might put a switch on this Glock and call it young baby. How you real triggering on them dots? You a bird feeder, claiming he a demon. What's a demon to a cold leader? What he saying something, I ain't hear. This shit light. It ain't all who got the gun, it's all who gon' up that pipe first. I turn a bad situation to a game change. Bring soldiers from the dead, just raise up the chains. Bring shots, I'ma look like Aaron Jones when I run it. Never bite the hand that feeds you, you'll never get that hand back. He bitch about 10%, I don't wanna hear none of that. He dropping sword, fuck him, just make sure you get that cover back. Look around, he ain't with us, probably cause he never was. Now my chin like you with the angels for your brothers. Everybody won't be Richard Porter, God kill him like Alpo. Play if he want, it's laying in the trunk like Lee Malvo. A certified rubber ass nigga, I am not a toy. Hey, out with that hollow sign, yeah, this the rim accord. Feel like Gullah Jack when I'm in Fayetteville, you feel your boy. Still up on my brain, still I think that's all that I do. The way I get it boy lost, they gon' start to call him Elroy. Fuck his game, pop out on them demons like I'm Hellboy.
Speaking out, see who's clever. Gotta stand up, put your hands up. If you got a camera, go ahead and cam up. Ain't no need to slander, show your face camera. If you need an answer, go ahead. Camera, don't need to find.
Yes, y'all already know what it is. I got my general in the building today, the commanding General Yohana and family. We're going to give y'all some real pertinent information. We're going to catch you up to date on what's going on over there in the Holy Land, Israel. And I want to let y'all know right now, come on over to the Cam Up Podcast. This is where we at, right here to the Cam Up Podcast. Can y'all please drop the links in there for me? All my mods that's up in here right now, drop the links. Let them know this is where we at. The Sarnetta Studios will be turned off. So the link is in the chat right now. We're going to be at the Cam Up Podcast. This is where this will be going down. I'm just letting it be known for right now. Anyway, peace and blessings to you, Commanding General Yohana. How you doing, sir? Let me unmute you.
Good to see. Oh, okay.
Yes, go ahead, brother.
Yeah, same to you, brother. It's good to see you, man. Good to see you, good and healthy and strong, holding it down, still doing your thing, moving hardcore. They can't stop you. You know what
You
I'm
know
saying?
they can't stop you, brother. You know they can't stop you. But this is going to be a little different because I want to get to know, and I want the people to get to know who is General Yohana, the commanding General Yohana. So this is going to be a little different. And so for the first question I would have for you, brother, is as a child growing up in the hood, what was your family's religious practices like?
Okay. My family wasn't religious.
Okay.
They had, of course, some historical religious beliefs from their parents, but my family was never religious. We practiced no religion. We were not involved in any religions or anything like that. I mean, they grew up, in different other religions, different Christian type religions, but they never brought that in the house with us. They never forced us to go to church or anything like that. They never put any kind of religion in front of us growing up. So we was an empty slate when it came to God.
Okay. Yes, that's peace. Was the Most High always your center of focus as a young black man growing up?
Yeah, once I found the truth, yeah, that was it. Once I found the truth at 19, that was it. I was in the truth and that was it. That was my life after that.
Oh man, that was it. That's I mean, once you found the truth, that was it, right?
Yeah, that was it. I mean, I couldn't believe the things that were written in the Bible were in the Bible. I've been around people and Christians, and you see the Bible like everybody. You see the Bible everywhere. You go to court, you see the Bible. You go to a church or a funeral or something like that, or some religious events. You see people carrying the Bible on Sunday, knocking. It was everywhere. But I never knew what was in the Bible was so heavy. And a lot of people don't know it today. A lot of people just think of it the way I thought of it growing up, like it's just a Christian book. It got a bunch of songs in it. It's, you ain't something you take serious. But it wasn't until I sat down and really went in it that I realized this was the greatest book on earth that was hated by everybody else. Like if you think
They killed, give me Isaiah 14 and 21. They did the same thing to my people. So you said that they put millions of my house.
Just also go stand up. Watch basketball?
Not really.
Okay. Michael Griffith. I mean, one of them. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Put it in the chat if y'all know who I'm talking about.
Right.
If you see his son is milky white, but he's black. You see what I'm saying? Because what happened was the father, Blake Griffin. There you go. Thank you.
Okay.
Blake Griffin. It was a mixed family there. And so if we continue to mix with these people, right?
Right.
Then the nation will become lighter and lighter and lighter. There will not be no more dark Israelites. What do you think about that?
That's why God said it was illegal. Okay. If we was right now in Christ's kingdom, it would be illegal for you to go with a white woman. You'd be committing a crime. You'd be committing a crime to go with a white woman or Oriental or African or any other nation. It would be unlawful. And it's still unlawful. So you correct. We should not be mixing. But of course, now remember, we've been in captivity 400 years. Many brothers are coming out of captivity, and they're coming out of captivity with wives from other nations. We can't help that. But what we can do is educate every brother and every sister so that we can start gravitating back to ourselves and our own identity. What you're saying is absolutely correct. Like we should be gravitating to ourselves biblically so that we can, strengthen our nation and our identity. The Lord said not to mix with them, not to give our children to them, not to have them marry our children off to them. What you're saying is correct. We shouldn't be doing any of that. We should be in a desperate march towards preserving ourselves. But here's the thing, son, that we shouldn't count on DNA as the marker of our preservation. You know what I mean? Our culture, our history, our family lines are way more proof of who we are than some test that comes from a man who claims is absolutely 99.999% accurate. That's what he says. When we build our own lab and do our own testing, then we'll say it's as accurate as he says. Right now, who knows? He's sending brothers to prison every day off of it. How do I know that these brothers are the only person whose DNA that is in a world with billions and billions of people? Because that man say it, I don't have no proof of that. Right. And we should not put our whole heart in it. But you know what I do know, Sarnetta? I know that you grew up in the hood with me. I know that.
Yes.
I know your people is up there in Harlem. I know that.
Right.
I know mine is up there in the Bronx. I know that. I know our parents talked about the 60s and talked about slavery. I know that.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? And that's more valuable to me in the hood than what somebody else telling me in a laboratory because they got a lab coat on and they got a piece of paper. I'm not saying DNA is not, useful in certain things. It surely is. And it may be as accurate as he says. But this much I know from people who have already studied DNA, that if you have two different ethnic parents, there's no way to differentiate who the bloodline of that child is through DNA. The DNA don't say your father was this and your mother was that. It just says you got this blood and that blood in you. But it don't tell you who your father was and who your mother was and what ethnic group they were. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
It can't tell you that. So since it can't tell you that, then I got to go by the family lines, the bloodlines. I got to go by what the Lord had us go by in the past, which is our family lines. You know what I'm saying? You know your mama better than anybody.
Beautiful. Family, thumb up the video once again. We speaking with Commanding General Yohana. Once again, y'all. And we're going to get right into some real pertinent information. There's a war going on out there in Israel. And so let me ask you this right here too. How hard was it for you to adjust your lifestyle from a worldly to becoming more disciplined in an Israelite world family?
It's not that difficult at all, Sarnetta. You know,
well, when you look at it, General, not saying you, but a lot of our people come in smoking, coming using all kind of stuff until y'all clean them up and shake them up. You know what I'm saying? So it may not be difficult for you, but I'm quite sure. Talk about that.
No, what you're saying is correct. But when I say it's not that difficult, meaning once you enter into the Israelite world, like any intelligent person, like if I handed you a cup and I said, Sarnetta, this cup got poison in it, and if you drink enough of it, it's gonna kill you. That's gonna give you enough pause to say, maybe I shouldn't drink that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Even if you was drinking it in the past. And the beautiful part about the truth is the education you get is what gives you the strength to fight those lusts and to fight those desires. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason we smoking weed. It's part of our slavery. It's a reason we on drugs. It's a reason we killing. It's a reason we selling drugs. There's reasons for these. And if we're educated in the reasons that these things occur with us, guess what? We can overcome them and get past them. And you have so much family help in the ISUBK. You got so much brothers and sisters that, can help build you. But you got to want to fix you too. Everybody don't want to fix themselves.
Right.
Some people don't think there's nothing broken. Some people don't think they need to, take it to another level. But for those that do, it's not very difficult at all. It's a fight like any fight. But shoot, if anybody built to do it, God's people are.
All right.
The God's people are. Go ahead.
Why is it hard to unite with men who believe in the same God you believe in?
What men are we talking about?
When I say men, like other Israelites, now not just Israelites, because you can see it in the Panthers, you can see it in the Moors, you can see it in every group. Now you say you're the Israelites, and there's so many Israelite groups out there. Why is there so many divisions and so many beefs amongst the Israelites? Why is it so hard for other Israelite groups to unite, being that you all say that we believe in this God, we believe in Yahweh Shah, we believe in Yahweh. But when it comes to uniting with each other, you can't find that nowhere. It's like it's hard to unite. Only groups stay with groups. Let's say like ISUPK, IUIC, GMS, Lions of Israel, Sakari. Like, don't you know? And of course, you know, General, if all of these groups was to come together as a solid block, that'd be the most powerful force on the planet right now. That'll scare the hell out of this white man.
I hear you, son. That you know what I'm saying. Let me break it down for
Break
you.
it down, brother.
If all the Israelite groups came together right now, it would be the best thing the white man could ever ask for, because every one of those Israelite groups would all conflict with each other, and absolutely nothing would get done. And that force that everybody would be looking for would never materialize. Okay, and there's several reasons for that. There's several reasons for that. And this is why I stick to what I stick to. What made the Israelite world was one camp. It wasn't 100 camps on that. It was one camp. It was men being seduced for various reasons that led them into what they led them into. Okay. A perfect example is the IUIC, the purple group. Like these cats, you know, have you seen the footage? These cats are having gay dances inside their school. You know this true.
Yeah, I heard about it.
It's all on tape. I don't want to try. Yeah. I ain't come on this platform to slander them.
Right, I heard about it. You're right.
Ask the question. Now you know, for the people that believe would love to see us come together, you want me to have my soldiers go sit down in the middle of that?
Hell no.
The sisters will beat their ass over it. You know what I'm saying? The sisters would be like, what are you doing? So my point being is, just because a cat pretend to be an Israelite group, it doesn't mean that he's really an Israelite group. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Another thing, you know, they brought in groups from Africa to fill their ranks in, something that is against the scriptures. They already got one sister murdered out there, Joy Morgan.
I'm familiar with that too.
Man, that was a horrible, horrible murder. And I'm gonna hit you with something else too. You know, I just got back from Scotland, right?
Yes, I know.
So when I was over there, we was examining everything going on, and the brothers told me how every one of them Israelites over there are now run by Africans. Africans are in charge. And has the black man, like, why does the black man always in everything have to always be pushed to the back? He always got to be. If you're a Muslim, you number 2 behind them Arabs. You can say whatever you want.
That's right.
You number 2 behind them Arabs. You go into Christianity, you can say whatever you want. You can have the biggest church you want. You number 2 behind them white Christians. Them white Christian churches is who financing your church. They getting interest money off of your mortgage payments on your church that you got to get from your congregation. So what I'm saying is, the Lord said, I didn't say this, the Lord said, when you bring them heathens in, he said, they're going to get up above you and you're going to go below. You're going to come down low. So we should have never did that. We should never allow. That's why in the ISUBK, you can't come in here and be another nation. We're not allowing that. You ain't going to come up in here and get up over the top of black brothers and sisters and Latino brothers and sisters, and now you're going to be dictating to them what they should be doing and how their life should be. But that's what some of these groups do out here. And it is why we should never come together. You know what we should do? We should continue on until the Lord so the Lord brings forth who he believes in, which is the ISUBK. And here's the thing. If we are going to come together, right? Are we going to come together in a lie, or are we going to come together in the truth? Now, if we say we're going to come together in the truth, there is but one truth. All of them groups come out of ISUBK. So how you going to tell me? You're going to tell me, now, listen, ISUBK, since 1969, we have never, ever allowed another nation or group to dictate to us what it is that we do. Now, here we are, 2023, right? You want me now to turn around and compromise our principles from 1969 and now go join another group? Why they left out? Why they don't compromise their principles and come back to what they left? You understand? You left out when we was all one. Why you don't come back and make us all one? They don't want to do that, and that's fine. That's fine, because I know what we're doing, and I know what we're doing is right on the track of what the Lord wants. And the rest of this nonsense, a lot of this gonna go away in 2 seconds anyway. You about to see who's fake. You about to see all that. Matter of fact, you saw it yourself, son, that when you came down there with them cameras and showed the real truth about GMS, everybody was shocked.
Yes.
He wasn't shocked, but everybody was shocked when you bust some tapes out.
Because y'all knew it already. Y'all knew what was going on.
We knew they was going off already, and that's what happened. And a lot of other things too. Watch. And here's why it's so dangerous, and why it bothers me personally. Sonetta, we got religions. Black people is in every religion in America, right or wrong.
Right.
In all these religions, man, we got child molestation, rape. We got all kind of horrible stuff going on in these religions. And the only way to keep it out is to keep the protocols right. And if I come to your church, you talk about you a Hebrew Israelite, right? And I walk inside your building and you up in there twirling and twerking in the middle of the congregation like a woman, and you a grown-ass man. Come on, man. I can't get with none of that. And that'd be a lot. And that's the thing about religion. And that's why the truth is so good, because most religions in this world, their intention is to just draw you away from the truth just so they can abuse you. You check out all these religions, not only him. What about the one that took everybody back to Egypt? That cat took everybody back to Egypt. I ain't gonna stay on it, but he took everybody back to Egypt, and they was over there having orgies with them sisters. They messed them sisters up over there, man. Some of them sisters.
Who you talking about? Like somebody who?
Yeah, one of the other groups that they had out there. I forget what the name of them is. They had the East Indians in them. They were telling everybody to go back to Egypt, to get out of here, go back to Egypt. And they went back to Egypt, and them sisters was trapped off out there, man. And they was passing them sisters around and all that. Some of them sisters ain't made it back to the United States yet. You know what I mean? So that's what a lot of fake religions do.
Okay, now I gotta ask you a little bit of tough questions. It may be, man, I mean, it ain't gonna be tough for you, but
right. Oh,
people out there say they don't think, oh man, Saul being too light on them. Talk to us about the 501c3, because this is what a lot of people come at the captain with, and they say things like, yo, man, y'all gotta be down with the government. Y'all got the 501c3. Talk to us about a 501c3. What is that about?
Okay. First of all, anybody that says the 501c3 means that we work for the government has no understanding of nonprofits.
Right.
At all. Like, you should get educated on what it is that you're dealing with. Like, don't nobody curse the white man out more than me and more than my soul's equipment.
That's a fact.
We are full-fledged 501c3. Now, explain something to me. If you opened up a grocery store on the corner, right? Do you got to have a license for it?
Yes.
You got to have a license for it.
Yeah.
You have to have a occupancy permit.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have certain protocols for you to run that grocery store.
Right.
I mean, if you got a deli in the back, you got to have a food service license.
Yep.
You have to have certain paperwork. It's real simple. Well, if you have a nonprofit organization, if you have an organization that takes in donations, okay, you have to be a nonprofit. Otherwise, you have to go pay taxes on that money. It's a simple business program.
That's smart.
In other words, all the government is doing is saying, we're not going to take the taxes from you. We're going to let you keep those taxes so that you use those taxes to go help people in the street. That's all the government is saying. They're saying, instead of taking the taxes from you, we're going to let you keep the taxes, because based on what you believe in, you're going to help people out here in these streets. You're going to have food programs. You're going to educate them. You're going to show them how to get housing. You're going to give them some religious training so that they can fight all the things that's dragging them in the gutter. So you know what? Keep your taxes. Do that stuff so we don't have to do it. We could build less homeless shelters. We could have less welfare. We'll do all that. We'll let you keep that money. That's all it is. It's just a business protocol for any nonprofit to collect donations. Otherwise, guess what? Any money that comes in here, I'm supposed to be giving them a third of that money.
Right.
But
That's
instead,
smart, man. That's smart.
that money goes to programs.
Mhm.
It's just brothers and sisters that are ignorant believe that. And how could you believe that when I'm cursing him out every day to his face?
That's
He
right.
ain't in 20 years, he ain't knocked on the door and say, yo, you cursing me the hell out. You supposed to be working for me. He ain't say that. You understand? You
Yep.
can, the Ku Klux Klan are 501c3. The Klan. The Ku Klux Klan that say they hate niggas and all that, they are 501c3. They are
Right.
nonprofit. So it's just, brothers just don't know what that is. And a lot of us are scared of the government. And I can't blame black people. This government has done so many things to us over so many years. I understand their fear. But this is not that. This is not, nobody will ever compromise the teaching of the ISUPK.
Right.
Nobody will ever do that.
Thank you. Beautiful breakdown. I'm glad you cleared that up. And that makes a lot of sense. I agree with you. Rumors has it that RER was going to originally make you the comforter of One West, but instead Tazadakia got appointed. Is there any truth to that?
There's absolutely no truth to it. First of all, RER didn't make Tazadaki the comforter, and RER didn't appoint Tazadaki to be the comforter.
Yeah, that's why I said rumor.
Tazadaki appointed himself to be the comforter.
Mm.
You know what I mean? He appointed himself that. RER didn't wake up one day and say, I'm appointing you to be that. He did that. Okay. RER did endorse it later on, but RER was a 70-something-year-old man. Grew up in Harlem, taught this truth, spread it all over the place. You understand? Like he was a man. We are men. Like there's gonna be a time when I'm gonna get old enough where the brother's gonna be like, nah, man, you can't go on Sonnet. I'm gonna be like, why not? They're gonna be like, you too old, man. You gonna say the wrong thing. You know what I'm saying?
Nah,
Like,
you're always welcome here, brother. You
I
know that.
appreciate it. I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
But you
sir.
get my point.
Yes.
He never did that, and he was never going to appoint me of it. That was never a part of any of that. You know what I'm saying?
What is ICGJC, and why did RER hand One West over to you and then ended up starting a new church?
Okay, he never handed One West over to me.
Okay.
One West became mine simply because they left and created something else.
So you saying they just abandoned the whole ISUPK and then you came and built it back up from the ground, build it back up?
What happened is this. They at some point got seduced into creating another religion.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when they changed it over to ICGJC. I believe is the acronym.
Right.
And then they changed the religion. Then they started changing. They came out with God the Father, God the Son, which in the Israelite world, they know what the nuances of those things mean. Those are big changes. But to the naked eye, they may not appear that big. But yeah, they started looking at those, they started making changes to God's name, different changes that they started making once they had changed the name over. Now, I don't know what their motivation was or why they went that route, but whatever it was, they abandoned the school. I did not abandon the school. I refused to abandon the school. And the men that were with me refused to abandon the school. So I just did exactly what I was taught and trained to do, which is to carry on the work of the Most High. And that's all I did. That's all. And when they left and became what they became and ended up doing whatever that they did, while they did that, I just kept on doing. I was given a commission to go to Philly at first. Then I was given a commission to go to Baltimore. At the time of these changes, I was given a commission to go to Washington, D.C. After that commission, I spread the gospel all over the world with the men that were with me. But so that was on them to do what they did.
All right, now here's a tough question for me, man.
Come on with it.
I never heard you say this, but if you did, I know there's a good explanation for it and a good reasoning for it.
Right.
And some Israelites get mad at the fact that you said it. But the dudes that's getting mad, I look at them and be like, yo, y'all peons, get out of here. Y'all do all kind of wicked and crazy shit. So
Yeah.
get out of here. But what I'm saying is they accuse you of saying that you are second coming to Christ.
Mhm.
And when it comes to the hierarchy, God, Jesus, General Yohana.
Right.
Talk to us about that.
Okay. First of all, I've never said that.
Okay.
However, from the biblical point of view, that's absolutely true.
Okay.
That's an absolute. I've never said it until you brought it up to me now.
Right.
Okay, but okay, this much is clear. There is the God in heaven, and there is Christ underneath him. And underneath Christ was Peter and Christ's church, so to speak. Word church, which was the body of Christ. Okay. Now, the body of Christ was carried on all the way through, which you know the history of Harlem, all the way through Harlem, all the way till One West started in 69. You can go all the way back. You can go to the Schomburg and go all the way into the history of the Hebrew Israelites from the 1900s, before the 1900s. You can go into our history all the way back into Florida, into all the people that was before us. And here we hit 1969, and that's when the head set up One West. One West carried on. And when I took over One West, I took over that seat. So yes, biblically, I sit in that seat that Peter sat in before. Now that's a little much for a lot of people's blood. But I never talk about it or bring it up because we got such a bigger fish to fry than who's sitting in Peter's seat.
Right.
What does it matter if you're sitting in Peter's seat if God's people are not free? You understand? So, but brothers assert that authority, and I have to endorse it because there is somebody sitting in Peter's seat. There is somebody. Otherwise, Christ's church is gone. So somebody's sitting in Peter's seat. And guess what? The person that's sitting in Peter's seat is the very same person that would be carrying on the truth as we received it. And guess what? I'm carrying that truth on the way we received it. ISUPK since 69, all the protocols that we go back to, this is biblical prophecy. So the answer to answer it technically is yes. And I'm sorry it hurts people's egos. I'm sorry it hurts their feelings. You know what I mean? But like I said, I never brought it up until you mentioned it right now.
All right, Commander. What is the mission of you as a leader of ISUPK? What is your mission today in focus?
Okay. Our mission is really, really simple. Our mission is to get the Lord's chosen people to open up their eyes and see that they are the chosen, that they have a kingdom coming, and that everything that they see going on in the world right now is leading right up to Christ's kingdom, and for them to be a part of that kingdom. That's what's going on. That's our protocol. We want everybody to realize, like while this war is breaking out and all this that's jumping off in the Middle East, we want everybody to be able to see and recognize that these things are happening because the book that everybody took for a joke is actually coming to pass. That the Bible is actually carrying out everything that it said it would, which means you have a kingdom coming. And we don't want none of our brothers and sisters to blow that kingdom. Why blow that kingdom because you wanted to smoke weed? Or why blow that kingdom because you wanted to chase wolves? When you could give up those things, man, and we could have a great kingdom. We'll have a great kingdom. So that's our mission. Our mission is to save lives.
Okay, now we got past that. I want to get to some of this real talk right here. Because you being the leader of the Israelite community, we need to ask you these questions. And can you first start off and break this history down to us as far as Israelite and Palestine conflict goes?
In terms of today's conflict or
historically?
historically?
In terms of today's conflict, but I want you to give us a little history behind the conflict. Like this been going on for a long time. Give us a little history of it, and then go into it.
Sure. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Absolutely. In 19 everybody knows about World War II. Nazis had white Jews in concentration camps and other people. There was plenty blacks in there, plenty ethnic people from all over the world. So when America and Britain overthrew Hitler and the Nazis and took over that land, those white Jews decided among themselves that they were going to build a country of their own. And they didn't care who they stepped on to build that country. And so in 1945, between 1945 and 1948, they started pouring into what's known today as the state of Israel, which is our land. It's originally black people's land. So they started pouring into that land, and they started establishing themselves in that land. Now, the people that were living in that land at the time were what we know today as Bedouins, or descendants of Arabs, descendants of Greeks, descendants of other people who were living in the desert. And this was their home. This was like nomads' land. Well, these white Jews came in and started to occupy the land and establish themselves in the land. In 1948, they declared it to be the state of Israel, meaning they declared it their land. And of course, when they did that, all of the Arabs and the Bedouins and everybody else that lived in that land was like, what the hell are you talking about? We've been on this land for thousands of years. How are you going to just come and take the thing over? But they had declared it. And so what happened is they had a war. The Bedouins and the Arabs lost the war. And so the white Jews turned around and established their country. And to allow the Arabs to function, they gave them the Gaza Strip and what's known as the Golan Heights, or below the Golan Heights. They gave them those two areas. And what the Arabs did was they tried to establish themselves with governments. Eventually, they established Hamas in the Gaza Strip, and they established Hezbollah in the West Bank, or the south of the Golan Heights. They established those two governments to govern themselves because, of course, they were now in conflict with these white Jews. So now speed it on up until today, right? They've always been in little conflicts. Everybody heard of Yasser Arafat. The Arabs wanted attention. They started kidnapping planes. They started hijacking planes. They were the original ones that hijacked planes. The name of their government at the time was called the PLO, the Palestine Liberation Organization. So what they would do is they would kidnap planes and do different things to say these people are oppressing us. They're taking over our land. In the meantime, America and Britain aligned themselves with the white Jews. They became allies. They started giving the white Jews more weapons, more power. Eventually, they became very, very powerful, very, very wealthy. Now, speed on up until today. While those little skirmishes were going on, everywhere else, the world was quiet until they decided to overthrow Ukraine. Now, some people say it was the United States government. I don't know. But what happened was somebody came in and overthrew the government of Ukraine. They ran the president out of Ukraine. Then they took over the country. Now, when they did that, it pissed off Russia because Russia's on their border. And by the way, everything I'm telling you right here can be written in the scriptures. If you go on my channel, Commander General Yana, I just went through the protocols of most of this in the last tape that I made. So anyway, going back to it. So what happened is, like anybody, like it's just the same. Like if somebody invaded Mexico, right, and took over Mexico, the United States would be pissed off because it's right on their border. It's a threat to them. So that's what happened with Russia. Russia was like, you right on our border. This is a threat. You got to back out. But they refused to back out. They armed the Ukrainians. They gave them weapons. They started a war with them. And so what happened is in this war, other actors started realizing that we could do some things in this too. The Iranians and the Saudi Arabians are arch enemies. The Iranians are allies with the Russians. They helped run Barack Obama's troops out of Syria. Remember when Barack Obama was in Syria and they had to pack up and leave? That was because the Iranians, backed by the Russians, went in Syria and ran them out of there. So they gave Syria back to Assad, who is a friend of the Russians and the Iranians. So what's happening, which the Lord is doing, is both sides of the world are now getting divided up. They all starting to split up into two. Now, here's what led to this war. At some point, the Saudi Arabians, being allies with the United States, decided to become allies with Israel, the white Jews. And for the Arab world, that's a big deal. It's a big deal for a huge Arab country to join forces with the white Jews, seeing the white Jews are oppressing Arabs, the Palestinians. So as a result, they got upset. And here's what else they worried about. They worried the fact that if Israel, I'm saying Israel meaning the white Jews, if Israel and Saudi Arabia get together, that's double the power. They could wipe out Iran. So Iran, being smart, said, we can't let them wipe us out. So Iran started supporting Hamas in Israel, in Palestine. And now Hamas became powerful, and now they started a war with Israel. I don't know why they started a war with them. I hope they know what they're doing. They started a war with the most brutal beast on the face of the earth. The scriptures say this: no man goeth to war unless he counteth the cost. If you're going to go wipe them out, you better know what you're doing. And if they know what they're doing, then the world better get ready, because that means the whole world is going to descend into war, which is going to bring on the Third World's War and the end of every kingdom we know about on this earth. So that's the timeline on what's happening in brief.
Okay, beautiful, brother. But what does the Bible say about this?
It says that this is exactly what happened. It says in Ezekiel, the 38th chapter, and I could go to the scriptures if you want me to, but just to give it to you in brief.
You can call it out. Yeah, you can just say it.
Yeah, let me pull out the scriptures.
People can look it up on their own if they want.
Yeah, we can go to Ezekiel, the 38th chapter. This is just one of several scriptures that tells us that we leading our way right into this war. And here's what's heavy about it, Sonetta. Nobody would believe that God in heaven would allow these wars to break out simply to get us free from the hands of our oppressor after 400 years. But these wars are for us to become free. After this, every oppressed people will be free, and especially the 12 lost tribes of the children of Israel. We're going to have to form a nation. We're going to have to form a nation right here in this land as this country starts to crumble apart and starts going to war around the world, which is about to happen. All right?
Mm-hmm.
So let me read this right quick. I'm starting at the top. And it says this: the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog in the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against them. Now, to the layman, they may not understand what that means. But here's what it means. These names that I just mentioned, these are names of the sons of a group called Japheth. This group called Japheth lived in a certain part of the earth. The part of the earth that they lived in is what we know today as Turkey and Ukraine and Russia. So when we read this biblical prophecy, don't look at it as this weird name Gog and Magog, but understand who it's talking about. It's talking about the people who are living on this land. He's saying, I'm going to show you what the future is for these people, for the people that are laying on the land of these countries in the last days. I don't know if you could understand what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what he says. And say, thus saith the Lord, behold, I'm against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks in thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth forth, and all thine armies, horses, horsemen, and all of them clothed in all sorts of armor. And I won't go through every scripture, right? But just to give you some of the breakdown of this, here's the understanding. He said, first, I'm going to put hooks in you. Now, for you to understand that, you got to say first, who's the big superpower on this land where these people lived at? And that's Russia. And when he said put hooks in you, when you go fishing and you put a hook in a fish, the fish is running out that way. When the hook gets in him, you pull the hook, and what happens? The fish turns around and has to go back because he's got a hook in it. He can't get away. Well, that's what's happened to Russia. Because they invade, remember, the Russians were trying to be friends with the West. But because they invaded Ukraine, the Russians have now turned around. The Russians got a hook in them, meaning they got a problem they can't solve. So they're being dragged back against the West. And so now they joined in Iran. They joined in China. They're getting more weapons because they've been turned around. Who turned them around? The Lord turned them around. He brought them back. All right. I'm jumping ahead a little bit. Even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling sword. Here's what you got to understand when you read that. In ancient times, we did have shields and swords and horsemen and horsemen. We don't have that anymore because why? Modern technology. So with modern technology, what is the translation of this? Horsemen and horses and armies are now soldiers and tanks and jets and bombs and all kind of defenses. Remember the Israelis have something called the Iron Dome, where they shoot down any missile that comes into their airspace. Well, these are the modern day weapons. These are the modern day shields that we're reading about. So what the Lord is saying here is, look, I'm going to flip Russia around and I'm going to start a war. I'm going to use Russia. I'm going to use Iran. I'm going to use Turkey. And I'm going to bring them into a war. And as you go and you read down, it even tells you, and again, I won't drag on with it, but it goes on to tell you who is going to be a part of this war. Persia. Mm-hmm. Now, if you go back and read the Persian Empire today is who we call Iran. Those are Persians. So when the Lord said he's going to bring Persia with Gog and Magog, what is he saying? He's saying, I'm going to bring Iran together with Russia. We actually seeing this prophecy that was written thousands of years ago. We watching it unfold right now on CNN. Here's another country he said Ethiopia and Libya with them. Look for Ethiopia. Ethiopia is about to get in this war. They're already fighting the Saudi Arabians in Yemen. Those are Ethiopians fighting in Yemen.
Let me get you to understand this. So you're saying Ethiopia is getting ready to fight on the side of the Israelis?
No, on the opposite side.
Oh, okay.
What we reading here is the opposite sides of the Israelis.
Gotcha.
Russia, Turkey, other Eastern Bloc countries like Belarus and them, they're all mentioned in here. Then it mentioned Persia, the Iranians, and now it's mentioned in Ethiopia and Libya. Libya is already against America because they went in there and killed Gaddafi. So they're already against America. So now Ethiopia is going to get a turn against them. So all those countries are going to band together and get involved in this battle. And as they start banding together, there's going to be more of these type of skirmishes, and they're going to start to escalate all over the place. And if you read them further down into the whole chapter, it also explains to you the ones on the opposite side, like Saudi Arabia, like Israel, the Israelis. And eventually Russia is going to invade Saudi Arabia, according to the Bible. That happens, brother. It's going to be hell on earth in this place.
Do you think Israel will ever get back into the hands of the Israelites? The true Israelites, the real true Israelites.
It absolutely will.
And does the Bible prophesy that it will?
It absolutely does.
All right.
Well, I can read it if you like.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
I don't have a reader with me, but give me a second. I'll pull it up in the New Testament. All right. Bear with me 1 second.
Yes, sir. Take your time, General.
Check this out.
Once again, y'all, we speaking with Commander General Yohana. And make sure y'all subscribe to his channel. I need my mods. If my mods is in here, please grab his channel so that we can throw it up, put them links up in here, and let's get the people some information because he goes live as well. I think once a week, Commander, if I'm not mistaken, on a what day?
Well, my channel goes live 3 times a week, but I'm live every Monday night at 9 p.m. on my channel.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So thank you, Max Bird. Let's keep that link in there for the general, so that y'all can go ahead and get that.
I appreciate it. Check this out, Sarnetta.
Yes, sir.
This Revelation is the 21st chapter and the 22nd verse. And John was a brother who was locked up in prison. He was locked up on the island of Patmos, very much like Alcatraz, the prison. Well, that's where John the Revelator, he was, even though this island is not where Alcatraz is, this island is in the Greek Isles, the Mediterranean island. Well, they had it as a prison, same like you got Alcatraz. He was on this prison. The Lord gave him the vision of the future. That future was this. He said, and I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned up for her husband. Meaning the Lord was showing him a vision. And he said, look, the day is going to come where Jerusalem is going to come down out of heaven. And it's going to be in your hands. You're going to rule over this thing again. And as I read on, you'll see. He says this. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle of God is with men. Meaning, it's no longer up in heaven or someplace you can't find it. It's now here among men. That day gonna be when we're gonna rule this earth. And he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and the Lord himself shall be with them and be their God. And the Lord shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor cry, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. When that kingdom is set up, all the empires you see on this earth today will be destroyed. They'll all be destroyed in this nuclear war that's coming. And in that day, we will sit in Jerusalem. We will rule that earth. We will govern how the entire earth is rebuilt again. It'll be 1,000 years of us rebuilding this entire planet, because they're going to go into nuclear war. They're going to destroy themselves in this kingdom. And in that day, we'll be risen up to rule Jerusalem and to now take the earth where it needs to go.
All right. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. Who's funding the Hamas with these weapons to fight back?
Probably the entire Arab world. Probably every Arab country and every individual Arab, they stick with each other.
You don't think America is on both sides? You know the evil of America, man.
It's possible, but America, they don't usually fight against their top allies.
Okay.
Now, if America is working on that side, then it's a very sad day for the Palestinians for this reason.
Right.
If America is financing the Palestinians to do what they're doing, then it's only for the destruction of the Palestinians. It's not to fight Israel, because Israel's their ally. And the weapons that they've given Israel make it super clear that they are allies. They embed together 100%. So they're not going to take a chance that the Palestinians would destroy Israel and get their hands on the kind of weapons and technology that they have given to the Israelis. They're not going to take that chance. So if they're financing the Palestinians, that's to gas the Palestinians up so they can go right up in there and get themselves wiped the hell out. But they don't need America's financing. The Arabs stick together. They have a bond with each other.
Right.
They stick together. I wish we could do the same thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Should we as Black people, as Israelites, join or pick a side, being that they is bombing the Holy Land or trying to fight in the Holy Land? Should we pick a side?
That's a great question, Sonetta. I'm so glad you asked that question,
All right.
because that question goes to the heart of everything that I stand for. And let me explain you what I mean.
Yes, sir.
You know, what the God that you serve is the God that you're going to fight for. And if you serve if you're a Muslim in America and you're a black man, you now have an affinity for those Arabs who's getting killed over there, even though you're not an Arab. And the reason you have that is because you've taken on the religion of the Arabs. If you're a black person and you calling yourself a Hebrew Israelite and you feeling some sadness for the white Jews that's getting killed over there, or something like that, then you also got played, because you've taken on the religion of the white Jews. And guess what? Now you willing to stand up and fight for them. But here's who we aren't standing up and fighting for: us. We ain't fighting for us, but we gonna fight for them. So no black person should take sides. You want to hear something else? There's a real sad tragedy, and you're gonna be familiar with it because you came out to Chicago. The brothers in Chicago in the 60s, a whole bunch of them went back to Israel saying, we going to the land, we going to the land. Eventually, the Israelis gave them citizenship, or a portion of them citizenship. Many of their kids they gave citizenship to. Well, guess what? All their children are now in the Israeli army. You have to, it's mandatory. You have to be part of it. So guess what?
My man Unk said that yesterday. Go ahead.
Right. Like now all those brothers and sisters who are our people have to now go die for a war between Arabs and white people that have nothing to do with us. I mean, you can't get out of it. You have to do the military service. And in Israel, in Israeli land, you could be called up to military service until you're the age 55. So tons of those brothers and sisters are going to be called up, and they're going to have to go fight and kill and be killed over something that has no conflict with them, over people, two people who are fighting over a land that doesn't belong to neither one of them. It's a sad thing. It's a sad thing that, which is, once again, it goes back to what I was saying. That's why I don't join no Israelite group, because I don't want no fake Israelite group telling me to go back to the land of Israel to get my sons and daughters killed when you're not following the protocols that was given to us all throughout our history as Israelites. We never joined another nation. We never did that. We were cast out of that land. The Bible prophesied that God would destroy that land, that we would wait until he destroyed it, and then we would inherit it back. But some people didn't want to wait. They wanted to leave the rest of black people, go over to Israel and establish themselves over there. And then now look what happened. All of them getting killed and dying. And meanwhile, you so much more needed back here. They're needed in the meadows. But somebody gassed them up to think we're going to make a better way over here. We're going to get away from them drugs and away from the crime and away from the white men. But how you gonna get away with it and leave the rest of your people over here? But now you done got away with it, and now you over there somewhere thinking you in safety and you living righteously and you got a wonderful life. Well, guess what now? Now you got military soldiers all in Demona in them areas. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because they got weapons down there that they got to protect. And now your son got to go get called. Now you got to be in the house now wondering, is my son going to die? You understand? And on some Gaza Strip with some Arabs chopping his head off, when your son should not be dying for that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
The same goes for our brothers that's Muslims as well. Go ahead. So sorry about that. I didn't mean to cut you.
No, you're good, brother. You're good. Talk to us about Amari Stoudemire, man. I mean, it's sad to hear Amari Stoudemire say to the people, F you black people. Israel. He just outright said F us.
Yeah, he did.
What is your take on that, brother?
Well, first of all, on my tape that I did on Monday, I told him F you too.
There you go.
I told him F you too back because the reason why is because, first of all, he is like so many of us that want to whore ourselves out to make our slave master happy. Like he didn't stand up and find out in the records that he's the real Jew. Instead, he went and joined the white Jews and accepted their interpretation of being a Jew. Like what God you're to worship? That makes no sense. And then you mad at here's what's amazing about it. Black people have been oppressed by white people for 400 years. The Palestinians are oppressed by the white Jews for hundreds. Well, I don't know, I want to say hundreds of years, but people are wrong because they don't support a man that's oppressing people the way they were oppressed. Like, what the hell is wrong with this clown? Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's a clown. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna stand up for a man that's beating people down when I just watched the man over here beat me down for 400 years. Now I'm gonna go tell this, we support you. That cat's a clown, man.
Our people, man, it's like we don't want to gain no knowledge. We have so much self-hatred for each other. How do you feel? I know I'm mad as hell. I feel bad because, we could have used this money. But Floyd Mayweather sends millions of dollars in support. He's here that can use that for school, for anything. But Floyd Mayweather sends millions of dollars for support? How does that make you feel to hear something like that?
I mean, okay, I'm not surprised. I'm sad to say.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised because, once again, we are so brainwashed in this kingdom that we hate us and love our oppressor. We love the man that's beat us down, which is why, in the ISUPK, that's why I'm in the ISUPK, because I don't want to love a man that abused. I don't want to be a victim of abuse.
Right.
What Mayweather, with all his might and ability and skills and wealth and power, what he doesn't know is that he's been beat 6 ways to Sunday by his slave master. That his whole mindset is based on what his slave master desires. And to have true strength, you have to be able to fight against the whole idea that your slave master is shoveling down your face. Okay? Like, a little bit of historical research will show you that the white Jews are not the real Jews, number one. A little bit of history will show you that they've oppressed the Palestinians. Why would you finance anybody that oppresses a people the way your people were oppressed? And why would you choose them over your people? But
Right.
again, the brother, like a lot of brothers in this kingdom, especially brothers that become successful, they want to please their slave master. They want to fit in. They want to be loved. They want to be, recognized by him. They got to work with him. They got to make money off it with him. And so a lot of times it twists our mind to think that way. But that's okay. Brothers in the truth will stand up and say, to hell with them devils over there. To hell with both sides of them over there. And let's give our love to ourselves. We'll do what he can do. Since he don't want to do it, that's all right. We got soldiers on the street all over this country helping nothing but blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians. And we'll keep on helping them and keep on growing and keep on building until the day comes where we can hand that kind of money to our brothers and sisters. And we won't have to worry about that brother doing it if he doesn't want to do it. But hopefully one day that brother will have an awakening and say to himself, why the hell? I done already made it. I'm already wealthy. I'm already a champion. I'm already successful. Why do I have to still do things in the public to make myself feel acceptable before the public in a country that has oppressed and abused me and my people for 400 years? When he comes to that conclusion, then guess what? He'll start putting that money out in the hood. If he ain't already, he may already be. I don't know the man. I don't know how he living. But hopefully he'll learn that lesson. And then it'll be an amazing thing. Because could you imagine the self-esteem boost it would be for him to roll up in a neighborhood and say, I'm here to donate millions of dollars for this, and that, all in the black community.
Yeah.
It would give so much encouragement to the people that he came from. But I don't know the man, but I know this. A lot of us, because of what has happened to us in the hood, don't want to support our own people in the hood because we got so much anger and hatred for them. But that's what Christ died for. Christ died for us to forgive our brothers and to forgive our sisters so that we don't walk around hating our own and loving our oppressor. We got to learn to love our own all over again. So that's exactly what that's about.
Yes, I ain't gonna keep you long, General. I ain't gonna keep you long. I know you're a busy man and you out there working on the front lines. Here's the last question for you.
All right.
Have you ever heard of a new book on the scene? It's new compared to the Bible. It's called the Owaspy book.
Right. Yeah, I've heard of it.
Do you know you got a movement going on now where blacks are leaving Israel and becoming a follower of Owaspy, brother? What do you think about that?
I think that we, after so many years, have not learned the wiles of Satan. Because to me, now I don't know much about it, but to me, that sounds like an entire religion created.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? In some CIA office,
oh man,
3 or 4 PhDs who said we're gonna create this religion and we're gonna spread it out all over the place. And that's what that sounds like. Like that is a joke, what they have come together with. And once again, we should not be so easily moved from what we know. When you easily moved and easily caught up, when you quick to listen to glittery things that flicker in front of your face, you're going to get played real bad. And I believe that's the same in this religion as well. And I feel so sorry for the brothers and sisters who are getting caught up in it.
All right. Last question. I know that I said that was the last question, but here's the last one. Right. When are we going to forgive the Africans, brother General Yohana?
Say that one more time, son.
When are we going to forgive the Africans, brother?
Oh, that's easy. As soon as they pay us back everything they stole.
Okay. All right. All right. There you go. Once again, family, we're listening to Commanding General Yohana. Any last words from you, Commander?
No, just that, brothers and sisters, let's come together, man. Let's work together on everything that we're doing. I hope. Oh, I hope y'all in Houston, Texas, man. Towards the end of November, I got a lecture coming up, and this lecture is about something that's happening in the Black community, man, that we were unaware of, that's crept up on us, and it's a lecture about how uh, certain clandestine organizations are using pornography and video games to take the Black man out of the battle before the Third World War.
Oh, wow.
They trying to wipe out your adrenal glands before the Third World War, so you ain't got no more fight in you. And they're using video games and pornography to do it. A lot of sisters can't even get their husbands to deal with them because they addicted to the video games and addicted to the porn. That's on purpose. You don't understand. They doing that on purpose to harm brothers. And I'm gonna have a whole lecture about it down in Houston, Texas, coming up in November. Check me out on it. It's gonna be powerful.
General, General, I think I need your people to get me the flyer. I know it's gonna be flyers made. Get them to me so I can let my people know on this end to reach out over there, brother.
I absolutely will, son, and I appreciate it.
Thank you. Love you, brother. Thanks for taking the time out to come speak with us over here. We love you for that, brother. Thank you.
Most High Christ. Thank you so much. Love you too, son.
All right, my brother. Yeah, you can exit.
I'm on a whole system up here, so they gotta come in.
I'll get you then.
Can you disconnect me? Thanks.
Yes, sir. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
All right. Once again, man, that's our Commander in General Yohana. That is Captain Tazariak's Commander-in-Chief. Notice the level of respect I've always had for General Yohana. Totally different from a lot of the clowns that you see on YouTube when we interacting. You don't see the buffoonery. This is a serious brother. Whether y'all agree with him or not, he's in the street, he's building, and